Hi, you ever notice when you go to a football game or a basketball game or a soccer game, what gets the most attention outside of what the players are actually doing? It's the scoreboard. And why not? That's really showing how the individual teams are doing. You remove that scoreboard, you no longer have a game. All you have is a practice session. Hi, Brian McCordy here at Black Belt Lean Thinking. I want to talk about creating scoreboards for the work environment. There are three things that really drive forward any work initiative, be it safety, continuous improvement, lean manufacturing, and those are having a team atmosphere. Again, we're social beings. We work better as a team. If you don't have formalized teams, you have informal ones called cliques. Second thing would be communication boards or the scoreboards, and then finally good effective meetings. All those are really the mechanisms that help drive improvements. So in this section or segment, let's look at how to create a good communication board. I'm going to give you a template that I've seen used in many different environments, and it works very well. And again, feel free to tweak it any way you want. Again, use this as kind of your baseline, your basic. It's going to give you really the main things you want to look at, but again, slice it, dice it, change it however suits you and your organization. And it really doesn't matter what organization you're in, be it manufacturing, retail, hospital, whatever. You have key performance indicators, you have goals, you have people and processes. So a communication board or a scoreboard is a great way to create that dynamic tension and sense of urgency, just like at a sporting event. Before we look at our board, let me explain that sense of urgency and dynamic tension. Again, we are competitive by nature. If we know what our goal is, we tend to want to achieve it. No football coach has ever had to go to his team and convince them to win a game. They naturally want to win. They just need strategies and the resources to do it. Part of that is knowing where we're at. So imagine I've got a rubber band that I'm stretching between my hands. The lower hand represents our current state, where we're at right now. The upper hand represents our goal, our desired state, and now we have that dynamic tension. We can release tension one of two ways. We can lower the goal, or we can start getting closer and closer to achieving that goal until our current condition and our desired state match up. And everything that you do where people can see you're moving forward, that's exciting. It's kind of nice to know in a work environment to be able to say that, you know, right now it's a lot better than it was 6 months ago. And I'm excited to think because of the things we're doing, 6 months, a year from now, it's going to be better than it is now. We like that idea of moving forward. Everything we do has a shelf life. So if we're not working to improve it, by default, it's going the other direction. Okay, now let's look at our team board. Again, typically I'll call this a team board. We want to foster that mindset of people. Again, if you talk about a department, that reflects the area. If you talk about a team, that reflects the people. And we want to connect the people to the activities. Remember, lean centers around people and processes. So really, I've got the board set up here. Typically what I've seen used, it would be like a 5 foot by 3 foot whiteboard, so 5 foot by 3 foot. I've seen them professionally printed and put over it, you know, a sticker over the front of it, and I've seen them actually just use electrical tape to partition them off. You know, whatever works for you. But you want people, performance, and projects. So those are the main sections: people, performance, projects. Under the people, this is the people that work in that area, that team. So we want names, and we want pictures, we want ownership, and we want to give them the kudos and a sense of pride for belonging to that team. Then we also want to put a skills metrics and maybe RACY. Skills metrics, you can go to Google and type in skills metrics and see lots of templates. Typically you'll have the names down one section, across the top you have the skills, then you just put an X by the name under the skill. So like if Bob can drive a forklift and run machine X, you have and X buy those. Hoists, whatever the different skills are, because we want to encourage people to expand their capabilities so we gain flexibility. In almost any environment, we want people that can be able to move around as needed. Again, we need flexibility today. You don't want someone that can only do one job. We want people that with time improve their skill sets so we can move them around and become more and more flexible. And we should give them kudos for that. RACY just stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. I've seen environments where we made the assumption that everyone knew what their responsibilities were, but then found out that it wasn't really the case and things would fall between the cracks. Responsible is typically the person responsible for doing a job. So it'd be like a frontline mechanic running a piece of equipment. Accountable would be like the lead or the supervisor, person accountable for making sure it gets done. Consulted could be like an engineer or management. That's the person you need to call when things go south. They need to know when you need them to step in or call for a vendor or get help. And informed is anyone that's a stake or shareholder that needs the information. And again, that's part of this. So here's part of your informed. But RACY, again, you can go to Google and find out lots of different templates on that. Okay, so that kind of covers people. One other aspect I would throw under the people is safety. So there's something called a safety cross that I typically had put on our team boards in the different environments I worked in. And that safety cross really is shaped like a cross. It's just a calendar. You can go to Black Belt Lean Thinking and download a template. But for every day that passes, you just, if the day had no events in terms of safety, you put a green X there. If there was a near miss, maybe a black X. If there's property damage or someone got hurt, a red X. But every day, as they're able to get to the end of the day and put that there, we know that they're thinking safety. And when you look at it, you can tell that, again, there's a proactive approach to safety. And you can tell at a glance how an area or a facility is doing. Okay, next one is performance. Now we got that scoreboard. Whatever are the key performance indicators that give that sense of urgency, that's where we want it there in that performance. Cost, quality, delivery. In a manufacturing environment, you might want yield, downtime, scrap rates. And often a simple graph is the best tool to use there. So put the graph with your goal. X number of widgets is what we're shooting for in this shift, and have them at the end of the shift just put a dot where that is, with the upper and lower limits for downtime for whatever. And again, that will drive that sense of urgency. I've seen just by doing that, by putting on a wall those graphs and making it very visible, I've seen shrinkage and downtime go down and yield go up. That sense of urgency, that scoreboard. Again, to remove the scoreboard from the game, you just got a practice session. Out of sight, out of mind is very true. We need our goals right there, and we need to know how our effort connects to the goal. So we need to correspond between process and outcome continually. Then the last section there is projects. Remember, lean manufacturing is about eliminating waste and continuous improvement. Again, everything we do has a shelf life. The victories we made last year might be the very things that hold us back next year. So we want continuous improvement. We want to list projects, and we want to give people kudos and let them know what the status of those projects are. So I would list for the team even number of projects. What are the goal? If you've got 500 people or different departments, do you have department goals for projects? It's amazing what people can come up with that Kaizen mindset. Remember, Kaizen just means small improvement for the better. So every day looking for that little improvement. They'll find lots of little things, and eventually you'll find that gold nugget for some of those big things, those big improvements. Okay, this section across the bottom, usually we'll leave a section for more communication where they can maybe hang clipboards that show projects, a win list of things that have happened in the past. Maybe you'll have calendars there for team meetings, minutes, agendas, things along that line. And often I'll see the 4 C's for major problems or burning platform issues. The 4 C's really stand for concern, cause, countermeasure, and check. Say you've got a major problem that you want everyone focused on. Say a piece of equipment is going down quite often, you're getting a lot of downtime. So that would be the concern, excessive downtime with this machine. Cause, you put down the cause as you know it. We think there's improper lubrication. It's not getting oiled or greased often enough. Seizing up on us, it's overheating. So, countermeasure, we are going to implement TPM, a 5-point checklist daily, and make sure that it's properly lubricated, no contamination, and it's getting well cared for. And then we'll check it on a regular basis and make sure that our countermeasure is appropriate. So again, the 4 C's are a great extra thing to have on there for driving those burning platform issues. If you don't have any, you leave it blank and just use it for communication for, again, the people in the team. They have some markers and they can use that whiteboard to communicate. So here you go, our basic communication board or our scoreboard for the business. People, performance, projects, then extra space for communicating, team minutes, meetings, agendas, or the 4 C's. So hopefully this helped you out. Again, give it a try. If you're not using team boards or good communication boards, you're really missing out on that sense of urgency and that dynamic tension. Again, we're competitive by nature, but we need to know what the score is for us to really get involved emotionally and want to drive things forward. If you have comments or questions, feel free to reach out to me. I always answer and respond. So thank you. Until next time, Brian McWhorter, Black Belt Lean Thinking.